the riot ensured that fucking everyone in the whole of the country knew that there was a mass movement against the poll tax, and knew that fucking hundreds of thousands of people were on the streets and fighting. And all the isolated and worried and frightened people, they'd fucking open their Sun or Daily Mirror or whatever, and thought, fucking hell. Like, it's not just me that hates the poll tax, it's fucking loads of people. Brilliant, I'm not paying it. You know, I think that's where militant, well, one of the areas where militant are so wrong, you know, like, the riot was a fucking enormous boost to the anti-poll tax movement.
Violence today was the work of anarchists who attacked the police. The demonstration's organisers have been quick to condemn the activities.
Of course we don't condone that. We condemn it totally, like most working class people would do. People sitting watching those scenes would be very, very angry that this small minority of people have marred what has been a marvellous demonstration.
So what went wrong?
What went wrong, basically, was we had 250 of these individuals who were intent on causing trouble.
The Home Secretary told MPs that the investigation would look at the role of the anarchist group Class War played in the riot. This previously little-known organisation claims some 300 members around the country and publishes a newspaper. They're dedicated to the downfall of parliamentary democracy and attacking the police, as well as encouraging the non-payment of the poll tax. Earlier today, I talked to their spokesman, Andy Murphy. Many of you may find his views repugnant, but they do give an insight into why Saturday's march turned to violence. I put to him first the allegation that Class War is blamed for spearheading the violence.
We would have no wish to organise such a thing. It's part and parcel of our political ideology that the working class do not need leaders, either to make decisions for them or to lead them into battle.
So you're saying in no way was Saturday's violence pre-planned?
Not in any way, particularly not by Class War. We do not have the capability to organise such disturbance. You only have to look at how the police mismanaged the situation totally, with all the resources available to them, aerial surveillance, video cameras, radio control. They made a complete hash of it. How they could possibly expect us to organise something with 150 to 200 members present with no form of communication, I just don't know.
You wouldn't deny, though, that your newspaper and your organisation was responsible for inciting some of the violence. I mean, one doesn't have to look terribly far through this to see lines like, scraps with cops outside town halls may not stop the poll tax, but they're good confidence builders, and who needs an excuse for a fight with the bill?
I think that's fair enough. There is a general loathing of the police amongst a large section of the working class. They're seen for what they are. They're not protectors of the working class. They are there to ensure the power of the ruling class.
What is your view of those who did carry out acts of violence against the police and members of the public?
I would dispute that people were carrying out violence against members of the public, and any
well,
we would condemn.
Members of the public were injured.
Members of the public were injured by the police brutality. Any members of the public who were injured by the combative members of the crowd, we would condemn that as being totally out of order.
What was your objective on Saturday?
Our objective initially was to sell as many copies of our paper as possible to get our message across, and that should a disturbance occur, which seemed likely from the beginning given the route of the march, then we would basically put our money where our mouth was and support whatever action the majority of the crowd seemed to be going along with.
What is your view of those who were carrying out the violence on Saturday? Do you regard them as heroes?
Given the level of weaponry available to the police, riot shields, truncheons, vans, horses, the people that fought back with sticks, bits of cardboard, and whatever bottles were available, as far as we're concerned, were working class heroes.
I wouldn't mind betting that a vast majority of the viewers watching this will see you and other members of Class War as mindless hoodlums who belong behind bars. What would you say to them?
I'm not a hooligan, I'm not a violent person. I do not like violence.
Oh, come on, but you're inciting violence in your own publication.
I'm sorry. If you read the publication, we are reporting on violence which has occurred. Under no circumstances do we actually tell people to go out and do it.
Andy Murphy of Class War.
Well, I think it's been a most disgraceful affair. I'm absolutely horrified. And I think it's shocking that the police should have to put up with this sort of hooligan behaviour.
Do you think that violence was inevitable on a march of this size?
Of course not. We live in a democracy, and if people want to change the law, then they vote for a change in the law. Nothing can condone this sort of behaviour. Nothing whatsoever.
I condemn the violence, absolutely. It's literally intolerable in a democratic society. I hope there have been substantial numbers of arrests. I hope the people who have been responsible for the violence will be convicted, and I hope they'll be awarded very severe sentences, exemplary sentences.
Any violent demonstrations are the negation of democracy. People can demonstrate peacefully, that is their right. But violence is really anti-democratic.
The Labour leader said millions of people unable to pay the poll tax needed help.
They do not deserve to be exploited by Toy Town revolutionaries who pretend that the tax can be stopped by insurrection. It is rubbish and they know it.
This was just like a revolution. And so people were taking the law into their own hands.
think the message I'd want to say to people about the poll tax is that in our communities we've got to defend each other and not let any bloody bailiff come into our homes, or not let people go to court on their own, not leave pensioners and single parents, you know, alone against the poll tax. People in the workplaces and in the community have got to stick together and fight for each other, and we can win. You know, we've got all the strength.
We'll up in a poll tax. We'll up in a poll tax.